Vikir was stunned, initially believing he was facing a genuine monster, but in reality, the creature's body had been sliced into pieces scattered across the area. The creature was a basilisk, an S-rank threat creature, also known as the Dragon of the Sand River. With a length of 50 meters, it was regarded as a terrifying hybrid of dragon and demon. Its last sighting was on the 10th crest of the Black Mountains. Its breath could knock birds from the sky, and the patches of land where its scaled body had crawled remained desolate deserts for 50 years. The mere existence of such a being was catastrophic, an entity that no spear, sword, or magic could truly eliminate. The little spider's eyes brimmed with fear, and she couldn't help but tremble. Sensing her distress, Vikir gently petted her and, with a calm and reassuring expression, told her there was nothing to fear. It was just a corpse, already lifeless. Despite being with Vikir, the little spider's fear persisted. The boy silently gazed at the corpse, lost in thought. Vikir's mind drifted to images of Madam, with eyes gleaming with malice, and a member of the Below tribe. He recalled that before his regression, during the era of destruction, the basilisk had been one of the three great calamities, collectively called the three disasters for beyond. It was an existence shrouded in mystery, with no trace of its form until it suddenly revealed itself. Vikir had always believed it was simply hiding somewhere. He emerged from the monster's maw and began to silently circle the area. It was hard to believe that the creature had fallen in such a pitiful manner. His gaze then fixed on a strange tree nearby. The basilisk possessed an extraordinary regenerative ability, greater even than that of the swamp nut. The fact that it had been cornered and killed was far more significant than it appeared. A wind suddenly picked up, signaling an approaching sandstorm. While the small spider burrowed into his clothes for safety, Vikir's expression turned serious as he stared at the tree. This suggested that something, or someone, had the power to kill an S-class beast with near-immortal regenerative capabilities. The place itself felt ominous, as if cloaked in a chilling aura. There was a higher-level space-time distortion magic present, more complex than that of the Magic Tower or Andromeus' barrier. Vikir decided to investigate further. He approached the tree and thought it was time to open the door. Slowly, he began to push it open, allowing sunlight to pierce the gloom inside. His eyes shone with determination as he fully opened the dusty door, one that hadn't been opened in a long time, making him one of the few brave enough to enter. Suddenly, a surge of powerful, strange mana shot toward Vikir, causing his eyes to widen in shock. A formidable mana energy emanated from within the space. Vikir clenched his fist tightly, raising it before his face, his gaze turning serious. Recognizing the danger, the little spider fixed her eyes on something, surprised. Vikir then looked down, a confident smile forming on his lips. It was clear he had detected mana from an unfathomable dimension. He knew he had arrived at the right place. Once the door was completely open, Vikir stepped inside. The floor was strewn with swords, and before him sat a man on a throne, clad in black armor with his sword stuck into the ground. He was the source of that intense mana. This was the Tree of Spirits. Legend said that the great master of dark arts had planted it deep within the flood of the Black Mountains, in the White Salt Desert. It was a mana tree that rooted itself in the mage's mind, growing by feeding on karma from souls. Its seed would germinate amid countless deaths, and those who ate its fruit would gain power from spirits that served as its fertilizer. With sunlight filtering in, the man exuded a serene expression as he approached the throne. Vikir's gaze was drawn to the tip of one of the swords, which pointed not at the ground but toward the sky. He wondered if this place was somehow connected to Baskerville. After a few moments of silence, Vikir approached the knight, studying him intently, pondering whether he was the master of this tree. The atmosphere was charged with an immense aura he had never encountered before. Vikir couldn't sense mana, vitality, or any life force, only an eerie emptiness. It seemed the knight had long since died, leaving only his shell behind. If this knight had slain the basilisk, he must have been an extraordinarily powerful warrior in life. His hands rested on the pommel and hilt of his sword. With curiosity gleaming in his eyes, Vikir reached toward the roots of the tree. He decided that his first step would be to take the Tree of Spirits and then consult Hugo about what he had discovered. As his hand approached the roots, something strange happened. Vikir froze in place. Behind him, the torches on the wall suddenly ignited with crimson flames. Gradually, all the torches in the chamber lit up. Alarmed, the little spider panicked, her eyes widening in fear. Something felt terribly wrong. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, and an even stranger phenomenon occurred. The knight, who had previously appeared like an empty shell, began to stir. He grasped the hilt of his sword tightly, then rested a hand on the armrest of the throne and stared at the ground. The small spider trembled and hurriedly hid inside Vikir's clothes once again. Despite the danger, Vikir remained calm. He was prepared for this. He knew that nothing would be so easy. The formidable knight drew his sword from the ground and rose to his feet. Vikir kept his guard up, observing silently. Sensing imminent attack, the knight tightened his grip and prepared to strike. As the sword drew closer, Vikir's eyes sparkled with resolve. He knew he had to dodge or face certain death. The knight swung his sword with great force, but Vikir reacted quickly and dodged, causing the blade to strike the ground and shatter into pieces. The knight wasn't your ordinary swordsman. He shifted his grip and unleashed a series of powerful slashes, but Vikir's agility allowed him to avoid most of the attacks. The small spider emerged again, watching the knight with cautious eyes. Vikir remained composed, noting that the attack pattern was dangerously monotonous. The knight, seemingly without free will, charged forward in a series of reckless, senseless movements. As the knight prepared to attack once more, Vikir landed on the ground, a hint of disappointment crossing his face. He had hoped to find a protector of this extraordinary place, but now that hope seemed futile. Drawing his bow, Vikir prepared a mana arrow, his mind swirling with questions. How could this knight fight without mana or vitality? Yet, he knew he couldn't afford to waste time pondering. He released the arrow with determination, aiming to send the knight to another world in a single shot. The mana arrow spun like a bullet, streaking toward the knight. The knight lowered his gaze and fell silent. Then he lifted his head, his eyes suddenly shining with malevolence. The knight employed the first Baskerville technique, swinging his sword with incredible precision and cutting the mana arrow in half. The attack caused a massive explosion of mana, startling Vikir in both surprise and fear. He couldn't believe the knight had just used the first Baskerville technique. Without hesitation, the knight gained momentum and prepared to attack again. The small spider panicked. This wasn't good. Clenching his teeth, Vikir understood that the knight had been hiding his true strength. He urgently shouted at the spider to hide. Recognizing the danger, Vikir summoned his beloved sword, which radiated an intense aura of power. The knight charged toward him, prompting Vikir to adopt a defensive stance. He clenched his fist, causing mana to harden into a crystal-like layer around his sword blade. The knight launched a fierce attack. At that moment, Vikir invoked the seventh Baskerville technique. To his surprise, the knight countered with the eighth Baskerville technique, unleashing a barrage of deadly mana slashes. The speed was so great that Vikir had no time to react, resulting in deep cuts across his body. He cried out in pain. The knight then lowered his gaze toward the ground, but gradually his helmet began to crack. His eyes, shining with rage, focused intently on Vikir. Soon, his helmet shattered, revealing his true face, a man with white hair, his face obscured by bandages. Vikir's eyes widened in alarm. As he sweat and panted heavily, he realized that the knight had used Baskerville's eighth technique, an ambush from hiding. He wondered what the true identity of this knight could be. The knight's eyes glinted as he stared silently at Vikir. The boy was bleeding heavily, gravely wounded. The wind picked up, and the knight revealed himself as Conqueror Baskerville, guardian of the Tomb of Swords. And that was it for this chapter. Thanks for watching, and please comment Apple to let me know that you have watched till the end.